See, no, it's live. That's the thing. Like this is what's going on, dude. Is like YouTube decides to wait like a minute before it tells people I'm actually live and lets them into the fucking room. It's ridiculous. When does it say it's scheduled for?
10:09, which was a minute ago.
See?
There
Exactly.
There it is.
See? And here's the first comment. It's ridiculous. YouTube sucks. Fuck YouTube. Fuck Jay-Z. Hello. Good morning. Paul, goddammit, OBS is killing you. Sorry, bro. OBS is the best option for like a streamer. So you better just deal with it. Update that OBS.
You hear that Flash is officially over?
Yeah.
Adobe Flash.
Thank goodness. You just got to learn that OBS, man. You got to wrestle with it. You got to get it under your control. My OBS is under my control. It does what I tell it to do. And if it doesn't, it gets a spanking. Sup, everybody. Hello. Good morning. Good evening. IBS not under control. Ouch.
I don't think it ever is.
Yeah, I think if you got the IBS, I think you pretty much always got the IBS, you know? Have any old man wisdom for you, a young man? No, not really. See, I was a young man once, and so I know not to waste my breath on you whippersnappers. You'll have to learn just like me, and that's the hardest way. Time to smoke some legal tobacco and go for a COVID run. A COVID run? What is that? That doesn't
Like when
sound.
you feel so cloistered that you have to run.
Oh, you gotta go like run. Yeah, I don't get that, but I can empathize, but I can't sympathize. You have the hair of a young man. Yeah, well, it's the blood of the young that keeps my hair long and luscious. Hopefully running from and not towards COVID, yeah. Or running because of COVID, not like running down to get it somewhere, you know? It's open to interpretation. I'm glad you were here because I would have been like completely confused. The fuck is a COVID run? Oh, I see. Paul, have you ever dealt with addiction as I sit here and smoke a cigarette? I mean, come on, buddy. I'm all for COVID being resolved, but I really hope they don't make me stop working from home. Yeah.
I don't think they will.
I mean, like, I think it's way more efficient. They don't have to pay the rent on your house.
Mm-hmm.
They do have to pay a rent on a call center or, you know, this or that. So the people that have been able to move to work from home, I would imagine you're probably going to stay like that.
I know my mom said that she's for sure staying at home. Like her office or whatever just decided, fuck it, we're just going to do it like that from now on.
Why not?
It doesn't hurt nothing.
Yeah, working from home, maybe not for everybody, but for a lot of people is going to stick around for sure. Like, there's a lot of people out there that have jobs that they could functionally do from home as long as they have the software and shit that they need and they're connected in the right way. And, like, a lot of these companies have done that in the wake of COVID and realized, like, oh, You mean like we don't have to have like this giant rent bill every month on this building? We can just lease that out to somebody else and
They already invested in all the technology to work from home, so no need no IT person no more.
Paul, what does working from home do to workers' ability to organize? I mean, it increases it. Like, look, dude, we live in the age of the internet. You can be connected in a private fucking Zoom call with every fucking person on your team. Like, you can set it up without the bosses knowing. All you need is fucking their emails or their contact information on some other social media platform.
Or you do Skype like a boomer.
You can create a whole fucking Discord community or some shit that's just specifically for your work group and for organizing it. You got all the tools in the fucking world. It's just like it's not a battle of tools. Like unionization, getting to a critical mass that we can have a sustained months-long walkout. Here are the hills that we have to climb to get there. And the first one is just money, 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 money. That's just the way it is. A walkout is meaningless if it lasts a day or 2 days or even 2 weeks. Like if the company knows like you're on the clock, they're just gonna wait you out, starve you out, and the ones that don't come back in the factory will be replaced, and that'll be that. And you've lost. You've lost for yourselves two weeks worth of fucking pay. You've lost your ability to fucking do that ever again. You know what I mean? You don't do that. If you're gonna walk out of a factory, you better be prepared. Like I said, the strike line that I walked, the Frontier Hotel strike line, which was the culinary union there. The culinary and housekeeper union was suing to keep their jobs. That strike went on for like 3 years, maybe even longer. So you have to understand, like, in order to sustain that, that means you have to be subsidizing the people that are walking that line. That means the greater union structure needs to be subsidizing those people. Maybe not to the tune of their full fucking paychecks, but they get union pay. They get strike pay. It also means that there is a support system for those people. That means that you are also spending money, not only maintaining the people that are walking out, you're maintaining like people to join them on the strike line if needed. So if scabs bust the line or the cops come up, show up and bust the line, which they will, then 2 days later, there's fucking 10,000 people out in front of the factory. And that costs money. It costs money to mobilize those people. It costs money to have those people flown in and bussed in and trained in from all over the fucking country. And then you have to sustain those folks too as they walk the fucking line. It's money. I don't know that it'll ever happen. Like, I'm one dude. I can talk about the ideas. I can advocate for the fucking ideas when it comes up, but I can't make it happen. I don't have anywhere near the fucking reach. I don't have nowhere near the capital to fucking front it myself. There's just no fucking way. It's got to start with a group of very smart people that have some money backing them. Because the beginnings of this aren't even like convincing people to do a walkout. The beginnings of this are infiltration.
Well, it's like with Amazon, that Christian Smalls dude, like he's trying, but he just doesn't have the influence.
Exactly.
And like I worked at Amazon, and it's like people talk, but no one really wants to give up their overtime pay.
Right. So it's like you're talking about infiltrating these non-union warehouses and factories and jobs with people who work there. But that's not really their job. Their job is they're working for the fucking union. And they're there to rabble rouse. They're there to take the temperature of the union. There's a whole fucking like list of tactics for these types of people.
Dude, I got approached by a fucking union busting fucking dude.
Of course.
Like, hey, come join this like group, but it's 100% not a union. You got to promise that it's not a union. I'm like,
Union busting, yeah. Like, people have to be convinced where they live. They're not going to be convinced by online argumentation. People have to be convinced where they live, and that costs money. That means hiring and training agents to go into these communities and get jobs at these factories and organize from the inside out. Surveil the landscape, take the temperature of the fucking workforce at that one place. Find out who the de facto leaders are and start working with those people to organize. And that could take time. That takes time. That takes effort. And it's not a guaranteed win.
and that's why Amazon doesn't give a shit that their turnover rate's 3 months. They don't want people staying long enough to get wise.
Right, exactly. They keep it that way. The longer people stay, the longer they have to get wise to what's fucking cracking.
And talk to each other and shit.
And this is all shit that I just literally can't do. I can tell you about the tactics. I can tell you about the structure of the organization to a limited extent, especially if you talk about a local. I know a lot about how a local is run. I can tell you about how I feel union dues ought to be spent in times of no strike. I can tell you how I feel union dues ought to be spent in the time of strike. I can lay out the roadmap. I can talk in very general terms and use the knowledge that I have, but that's it. That's it. When it comes down to doing this, you can't look at me and go like, oh yeah, well, when are you going to do something? I can't do any more than I'm doing. I don't have the money. I don't have the reach.
Your body's too broken down to do some factory job. Right?
Well, not even that, but like, what would I be? One dude infiltrating for what organization?
Yeah.
And to what end? It doesn't make any fucking sense. It has to be organized, and it has to be a means to an end, and it has to be happening in multiple factories, and it has to be targeted. It's a slow process, and it's an expensive process.
That, and you gotta realize people aren't motivated by money alone. People are motivated by recognition and shit.
People are motivated by stability. People are motivated by, like you said, internal recognition. There are a number of psychological techniques that a company uses to keep people feeling like they're happy with their job when really they're just being fucked.
Job rotation.
Right. You just woke up. I'll knock the crust out your eyes, bitch. It's morning.
When you make fun of Speak
Speak of the devil.
Dinor!
Dinor, come here.
Dinor!
Every day. Every day. It's just the way it's gonna be, huh?
People make fun of pizza parties, but some people fall for it.
Oh yeah, dude. Pizza parties and
People still get filled with warm fuzzies. And like at Amazon, they'd give us like an hour-long lunch instead of a half-hour-long lunch.
but the union has to do that shit too.
Yeah.
The union has to foster an environment of genuine solidarity. It has to throw events. Like there was a Christmas thing every year. There was a Thanksgiving thing every year in 254 when my parents were in it. And I remember going to it, and they would rent out a little banquet hall and have it catered up, and it's all on the union. You know what I mean? It's coming out of your dues, and it's for everybody. And it's that those types of events are just as important as the big firebrand meetings and the walkouts and shit, because that's where solidarity is kept and maintained. That's where like common humanity is reaffirmed. And that's, like I said, it's just as important as all the other shit we're talking about. It's also just as important that your community know that that union exists and see the fruits of that union. So some of those union dues have got to be dumped right into that community, We're talking low overhead here. Because the minute fucking big union bosses and shit start raking in 6-figure salaries, it's over. It's over. These motherfuckers got to make what the union people are making. They got to subsist themselves. They got to do it for the love of the union. They can make a little more because they'll be traveling and working more than these people will. But I'm talking about like the minute it gets out of fucking control and they start getting this purchasing power that's well and above all the people they're supposed to be representing, it goes to pot. And so it's got to be low overhead. The bosses in this union, the presidents of this union, the organizers in this union, these people have to be willing to work for a living wage and nothing more. And that's it. The minute union business becomes a way for fucking people to get rich, it's over. Over. The inherent contradiction of capitalism, it becomes too much for the union to bear. And people start asking the very valid question of, why am I paying union dues every month so fucking this dude up in National can get $250,000 a year?
Right to work passes in all these states.
Exactly. You have to address that, and that has to be in the union charter. That has to be in the charter, and anybody that even peeps about like, oh, we should take more of this money, fucking gone. Call them out in front of the union too. That's the culture that has to be fostered.
Amazon can't automate. That's not how Amazon works. Like, they got robots, but all the robots do is just move shelves to people. They still need people to pick them out.
Yep. There's got to be a completely open kind of relationship between the nationals and the locals. Completely open. There can't be this secrecy. There can't be this division. It has to be, the national needs to be looked at as an umbrella under which all the locals fucking weather the storm. If it starts to be like we're the boss and we give the marching orders to the locals, or the locals start to feel like they want, like that power dynamic has to be kept equal. They have to be two parts of the same whole. If they're not, it tears itself apart like Game of Thrones. As soon as people start working for less than they are worth, they start devaluing everyone else's labor. This is why I believe that workers have a social obligation to negotiate their salary. Absolutely. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Look at unions busted, and then look at the like paltry amount of increases to the state level minimum wage that were voted in some of these states. 9 cents an hour. It's fucking insulting shit. And that's as a result of the fact that those workers no longer have the right to sit down and negotiate a fair fucking wage for their labor.
And, people are really sensitive about seniority, too. People hate when newbies get raises.
Well, that's the thing, though. That's addressed within the union structure. Seniority is a huge part of the union. The longer you're at a job, the more choice you have over where you fit into that fucking job structure. When, like at my parents' factory, when a job came up for bid, seniority, they would put up a literal paper list listing what the job was, what the hours were, and what the shift was, and then there was a line for your name and then a line for your seniority. And whoever's was the highest number on that fucking list, people would go and look and see who bid on the job. And if somebody of higher seniority already bid on it, then you don't even bother. You know what I mean? That's just the way it works. You put in your fucking time. And your time means something. Your time has value. That's one of those things, seniority, that was implemented to keep infighting from tearing apart unions. Because, of course, if you're a person that's been working the factory for 30 years... you expect to be making more and to have more privilege within the kind of mobility from job to job within that factory than the fresh-faced kid that just got hired.
And that's why they recruit so many people from management.
Right.
Like, you didn't have much seniority at Starbucks when you got management.
That's true. I'd only been there about a year, maybe even a little less, when I was approached to be a fucking shift lead, and then I did that for fucking years and years.
And then they have their hooks in you.
But I'm telling you, dude, my seniority did come into play, and because Starbucks had a fucking rule that not a lot of places do, that when people transfer within the company, they do not take pay cuts. So even if, because I started working for the company in Arizona. Arizona's minimum wage was higher than California's minimum wage at the time. So when I came back, not only did I have my pay increases, but I had started at a higher base rate than everybody around me. So there were people that had been working almost as long as me that were making $5 less an hour than me. That's just the way it worked. You know what I mean? And that sort of thing is addressed, would have been addressed by a union, because it would have elevated the salaries of those other people. And there wouldn't have been the salt. I would never tell people what I made.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the problem. Is people not talking about what they made.
Right.
Like, I guarantee you, just when I was doing like retail, I made less than other people because no one talked about it. They ask you how much you want to make in the interview.
Oh, when I moved down here, there was a boss that wanted to cut my hours. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, I went and looked at my schedule, and I'm working like a 20-hour week. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so I went to because I just transferred to this new store. Mm-hmm. And I went to my boss, and I was like, I have a mortgage and shit, right? I can't live on 20 hours a week, so what's this? And he's like, well, you're just so expensive in comparison to all my other shift leads. And I was like, and that's my fucking fault? So wait a minute. So you want to punish me by giving me fucking 20 hours a week because I've been here the longest? Mm-hmm. That doesn't sound correct. But I had to go to bat for my own shit. There was no organization to go, wait, you're not cutting Paul's hours 20. Mm-hmm. You're not cutting Paul's hours in fucking half. Apropos of nothing. It doesn't matter that he makes more money. He's been with the fucking company for 7 years. Mm-hmm. He should make more money. I never asked for a fucking raise. See, that's the thing. I never went to my boss and was like, give me more money. Give me more money. Fucking Starbucks had a schedule. You got X amount of dollars or X percentage of your salary every year. You got gifted stock that would vest over the course of 4 years, 25% of the time per year. Until after the 4 years, you got a fully vested stock. It was free stock.
I can't tell you how pissed people were when they raised it to $15, because raising it to $15 meant they took stock options.
Yep. Yeah. No more stock options. No more SIP plan is what they used to call it, the stock investment plan, where you could set aside a little bit of your fucking money every month to buy stock at a lower rate.
Yeah. Well, no, they just gave out stock at Amazon. Like, I probably got 5 shares in 3 years, which I scuttled like an idiot, but...
Well, I mean, it is what it is, dude. I scuttled my own Starbucks stock, too.
Well, I was making like $12 an hour to start, so of course I wanted it when it came.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I really do not know.
I used to do monthly bonuses too that they don't do no more. Like if you met all your goals or whatever for a month, I used to do bonuses. If you had good attendance, you'd get bonuses, and now it's just flushed down the toilet. No one has any incentive to be on time or whatever.
That's exactly what happened to Starbucks. When I first started working for that company, it was this amazingly progressive company. It was not unionized and was actually against unionization, so not progressive in that way. But I'm talking about like stock options, full medical benefits for part-time workers. You had to work 20 hours a week or more to get full medical benefits at Starbucks. I think that's still true. So I think that little vestige of the old Starbucks has remained. But as far as like, as the company grew, slowly but surely, all those things were devalued or taken away. And now people that work at Starbucks are nowhere near as well off as people that worked at Starbucks back when I did. I was able to fucking buy a house and pay a mortgage on my Starbucks salary. Not a house, but a condo at least. I owned it. I owned my car.
And you scuttled your stock too.
Yeah.
That's a temptation when they give it to people.
Well, that's what they want you to do with it.
Yeah.
They want you to take it and blow it, and so they can do a stock buyback. My one stock vested in Amazon last September. I got a cool 2K after taxes. I wish I could have kept it, but I didn't want to pay taxes on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how they bite you too. You get it, but you gotta pay taxes on it.
Yep. Pain in the fucking ass, yo.
And most people can't afford to pay the taxes on it because they're not paid enough. I do miss how cheap Indiana was, though. People were complaining about their mortgage being $800 a month. Oh my god, it's so expensive. But, I mean, there's definitely places in the country like that.
Yep. We gotta find those places. Find a big piece of land with a little fixer-upper on it and purchase it and get the Capybara Ranch started. They're just increasing the minimum wage by 1 every year in Illinois.
It's something. It's better
Yeah,
than
I
some
guess.
fucking Florida 9 cents bullshit.
Yep.
What do you even do with 9 cents?
I don't know.
Doesn't even exist.
Yeah, I don't know. You could buy a whole stick of gum for that 9 cents.
Let's see. If you work 40 hours a week all year times 0.09, it's $187 more a year.
Woo! That'll get you a steak dinner. And a night out on the town. Woo! Thank you.
That's not even enough for a vacation.
That's not even enough to fucking think about going on a vacation. That's not enough to pay for lodging on a vacation.
Yeah.
Let alone eating, getting there, getting back from there.
Like, especially with moving, like, shit's fucking expensive.
Yeah, that's like gas money for vacation.
And we also got fucked because we had to get all of our appliances.
Yeah, that's true. What do you do with 9 extra whole cents? You invest in the greatest country on earth. That's right, Blue Noble. Keep your chin up. Pull yourself up by those bootstraps. Invest in the greatest country ever. The richest country in the whole world. Oh my God, dude. We're sitting here talking unions. I'm just gonna start banning people. That's all there is to it. One more dumb weed question fucking passes in front of my face. One more, dude, you guys are tempting me. I had a good fucking run of it today. I'm feeling good today. But this off-topic fucking bullshit, it's got to go. Johnny, you on the fucking list, so I wouldn't be giving out fucking advice to people about tempting the salt or whatever. You're on my fucking list. The next thing that comes out of your mouth better be real fucking smart. Because if it ain't, you go into the dungeon, boy. I got killers out here. Ban everyone except for Tommy, yeah. Fucking, I don't know. I don't even know why Tommy's not fucking...
Wrench you wrenched?
Yeah, he's got to be wrenched. Now the world is fucking on fire. You better watch your back, because Tommy's got a wrench now. I'm tired of not knowing when Tommy's here. No, you ain't got to do shit, Tommy.
You just gotta chill.
Yeah.
Fucking.
That was more for me than it was for you. I don't want you to feel like you got to fucking enforce shit. Tommy wasn't a wrench. Now he's a wrench. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how that went so long. Now he's wrenched up. How did you deal with the crushing realization that late-stage capitalistic jobs serve to do nothing but drain you of energy until you die? How did I deal with it? I quit my job and I tried something else.
You need your gloves.
No, I'm fine. I just have to keep them tucked away in here, in my kangaroo pouch.
Tommy from the Bronx was pretty dope meeting.
Oh yeah, dude.
Him and his wife.
Yeah, dude. Tommy's awesome, dude. Tommy's
fucking banging.
Of course. What did you expect? Tommy ain't gonna show up with no swamp donkey. You know what I mean? Tommy keeps his arm dressed up with that candy. Ooh wee. Ooh to the wee. What do I think of cryptocurrency? I don't know a fucking thing about it. I don't know how it works or operates. What I know is I wish I would have bought Bitcoin back when I heard about it and it was like $1 a Bitcoin. Mm-hmm. I wish I would have bought like 100,000 Bitcoins. I'd be a fucking quadrillionaire right now.
There's so many stocks that you kick yourself for not getting.
Google, Alphabet, fucking Amazon.
That's how the stock market works.
It's the way it is. Dude, if you would have bought Amazon stock back in like 95 when it was still just a bookseller, oh my fucking God, you'd be fabulously wealthy.
I mean, if I just kept my stock, like my 5 shares, it would have like tripled by now.
Oh yeah. That's what I'm saying. But think about if you had bought like 200 shares of Amazon back in 1995 when they were a bookseller online. Or 96, whenever they opened. You would be fucking so fat, dude. You'd have so much fuck you money. Ridiculous. Was Amazon a publicly traded company then? Well, whenever the Amazon IPO was, if you would have bought 200 fucking shares of that stock, you would be wealthy. You'd be wealthy and then wealthy and then wealthy some more. Paul, for real, if you believe all the things you tell us about the world, how do you keep going? I know you have anxiety, but what makes existence work for you under these circumstances? What choice do I have?
You don't believe in an afterlife. So.
Right. I'm not racing to something better, so killing myself just is off the table. So what choice? You know what I mean? I'm surrounded by people that I love. I've got my beautiful wife. I got my boys. You know, they keep me going. But when it comes down to the brass tacks of it, like knowing that everything is fucked up doesn't change anything about my day to day. I still have people that depend on me. I still have obligations. I still have things I've got to fucking get up and do. So I do them. I don't have a choice. It's kind of the same way of that, like, you know, people that are proponents of simulation theory talk about it. It's like, even if you genuinely think we're living in a simulation, it doesn't matter. You're still bound by the rules of that simulation. You're not fucking Neo. You're not some glitch in the programming where you can have some fucking kind of control over the simulation. The rules are what they are. You know, Super Mario can't jump out of the fucking screen or decide he doesn't want to fucking save the princess this time. You know, he moves forward. The rules of the game remain the same. Well, extrapolate that out to your question. How do I keep myself going knowing that everything's so fucked up? What choice do I got? What choice do you have?
Toes and hands were froze.
Yeah. It's still
Did I drop a whole
I might start a fire, to be quite frank with you.
Yeah.
Knock the chill off this fucking porch, yo. I'll take you guys with me, but you're gonna have to be in my pocket. Oh man, I shouldn't unplug that phone either. Probably won't charge when I plug it back in. Take you guys on a little trip to get some kindling. How fucking thermometer on me. It's cold. It's a chilly willy day. All right, in the pocket with you. Get in there. I gotta gather up some dry kindling here. Oh yeah, that's gonna work just fine right there. Yeah, I got little leftovers from my last kindling run. Load.
Well, that's pointless now, isn't it?
I mean, it ain't pointless. I'm gonna go get some next stage kindling now. What exactly is a union? What does it do? Why is it important? I've heard that unions are terrible and just for people to sit around and get paid. A union provides a working person with the opportunity to have a say in what they spend most of their life doing, or at least a giant portion of their life doing, to have a say in their compensation and to have a say in their proper caretaking and to have a say in their safety. So a union could be looked at as the voice of the workers, the voice of the common worker who ought to have a say in his or her compensation package.
Cardboard too?
Huh?
Cardboard too?
Nah, I think this is gonna be good.
Careful of those nails.
Oh yeah, there is a nail there, huh? We good. We Gucci. Just gotta get these little sticks underneath. Ugh, this stuff is so dry. It's perfect. There is power in a factory, power in the land, power in the hand of the worker. Oh yeah. Dude, we got this bad boy loaded up proper now. No messing around, no muss, no fuss.
A couple little boxes.
Yeah. We'll use them if we need them, but I'm just gonna let this drip down into that bottom there. 'Cause that's where we want it to get caught. necessarily up here. We want it to burn down.
It's stinky.
Yeah, it is stinky. Stinky. All right, matches. How you guys liking it there in my pocket? Is it cozy? That's what you get. Get pocketed.
Those matches are bullshit.
These matches really do suck. It really made me salty watching Bing Crosby light those fucking light anywhere matches with one finger like a pimp. There we go. There we go. Out of the pocket with you.
I gotta go.
Oh, you gotta go?
Yeah. I'm on.
Oh. Right. Sorry about that. I'm just gonna have to fuck with my fucking charger here for a second. So give me 1 second. Don't go anywhere. Fixed. Saved. How's the fire? Looking good. Fire's looking good. It's popping and crackling just like I want it to be. It's chucking heat. Phone is now charging again. I need a new phone. My phone wants to be unplugged and plugged back in about 15 times before it charges. That's about the rule. And no, it's not the charger. It's the charging port. It's an old phone. I've had it since back in the day. I think I got it right around the time we started doing Deep Fat Fried. So it has served me well, but it is time to be replaced. It's an iPhone 8 Plus or whatever the fuck. It's gotta go. Whoa, amber is the color of my energy. Can't throw you in the fire when I get a new phone because I think my phone plan wants me to send my old phone back. And then they send me my new phone. Or, well, after they send me my new phone, I send my old phone back. Wow, 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 wow. Rainstorm, keep me away from the norm. I got something to tell you. This phenomenon, I had to sing it in a song, and the song goes like, whoa, amber is the color of your energy. Whoa. Good old fucking 311. There we go. Give it another little spritz here. Give it another little spritz. I cured your vibe. Amber, dude. Yeah, it's a pretty chill song. Please tell TJ that 311 slaps and he's just a hater. I mean, I don't know if I'd go so far as to say 311 slaps, but yeah, that song in particular is pretty good. I mellowed your harsh, is what I did. There's no way that Amber harshed your mellow. Bum 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 bum. Wow 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 wow. Paul, if I ever make enough money to make you and TJ and Scotty all millionaires, there will have to be more cigar smoking on these streams. Well, you, dude, if you make me a millionaire, I'll smoke whatever you tell me to smoke. You want me to smoke crack on stream, I'll do it. I don't have a new song. What are you talking about? You talking about that Beauregard song? I know where this meme started, that I'm Beauregard, but I don't like it. Marshall Manson is working with some fucking Beauregard guy. People say he sounds like me and shit. No, I was actually talking with Amelia this morning. We're sitting out here in the chilly morning air. I woke up, I'm working on another song with Marshall. I actually got 2 in the lab right now, but I just started writing on one yesterday. Cold ass beat. And I woke up this morning with like lyrics in my head. I was like, okay. Still had all the crusties in my eyes, and I sat down and I was like, yeah. Kind of finished out the song, I think. And once that was done, I came out here and I sat on the porch with Amelia and I was talking to her and I was like, you know, it's really fun, like having a rap persona or whatever. You know what I mean? Because I get to kind of like act and be a way that I'm just really not. I get to be callous in a way that I'm not. I get to be money driven in a way that I'm kind of not. I get to be, you know, dismissive in a way that I'm not. And I like that. I like that, Holmes. I like that. You get to be black is what you're trying to say? No. I get to be, I get to wear a different fucking personality, you know? Paul, do you feel that 2020 drained your desire to do psychedelics? No. I'll do psychedelics again. Somebody left a pig's head outside of Nancy Pelosi's house. Dun, dun, dun. I'm sure she'll cry and virtue signal about that forever and ever. Was it conservatives, leftists, or vegans, dude? Who knows? Who knows? I got no idea. I don't know how to call that or which way to call that, to be honest with you. I feel like it could have been any of those. Might have been all of those. You know? That's my feelings on the matter, to be frank. And to be Joe and to be Bill. And to be Henry as well. The lizard people, da-da-da-da. Look like conservatives false flagging as leftists? Okay. Whatever, man. Whatever you say, partner. All right, so now you guys got to wait there for 1 second while I go get one more load of kindling to make this whole fire guaranteed to go off. Ah, yes, that should do it. Wish there was a horror movie where the characters are forced to be paranoid about rooms without windows, or maybe rooms with windows. I think it's been done. It seems too simple of a concept to have it not have been done at some point. Fat Jesus? I'll take it. I might use it as a lyric. Walk up in the club looking like Fat Jesus. It's usable. It's doable. Rip Doom, yep. I know, people are going to be rip dooming me for about a week. I found out the day that his family or estate or whatever announced it. Had my moment. Dustin McFinkelstein, you on the cusp, homie. You on the cusp. Just letting you know. You sitting right there on the cusp. You about to teeter over the edge into a ban. About to teeter-totter right into a ban. You're on the highway to the danger zone, yes. I fought the law and the law won. That's basically the Trolls anthem for this stream. Have I personally banned anyone today? No, I don't think I have. I think my specters have banned a couple. closer to the edge, the hotter the intensity, huh? All right. Well, you live how you want to live. Just be prepared. Dun 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 dun. Home, dum dum, home, dum dum, home. We need community oversight of the specters. I wouldn't even. I wouldn't even. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't say it. Yeah. Specters are your community oversight. That's exactly true. Yep. Speech is monitored and enforced here. This is a no speech zone. Snap, crackle, pop. Fire's getting hot. That's how you know. That's how you know it's happening. Good things are happening in the fire pit. Who watches the watchman? No one. No one. How cold is it here in Celsius? It's, I don't know, degrees Celsius. Any thoughts on the show Community? Not really. I've seen a few episodes of it. I didn't think it was all that great. Brett Keane came back for a while, but his channel is gone again. Now you're gone. See ya. Holy shit. Now you have something in common. Well, now you have one more thing in common with Brett Keane. Oh yeah, speech has a price on it for sure. He got moded. Got moded, corroded, and his butt exploded. I'm almost done with uni, and I'm staring down the barrel of cubicle hell. Convince me that living as a starving artist is a more dignified position in life. That ain't my job. Dude, if you're looking for, like, to be convinced with about what to do with your life to me or to any other personality or something, you're doing it wrong. I don't know you. Maybe you'd be better off tucked away in some fucking cubicle like a little slave for the rest of your life, you know? I don't know. That's your life to deal with, man. Like you're acting like you're staring down like the barrel of a gun that you can't dodge, and you're not. Like, just because you're finishing up university doesn't mean you have to move directly into cubicle hell. But it's your fucking life, dude. You treat it how you want to treat it. I did the starving artist thing for a long time and it paid off, but you have to want it bad enough. You care more about your own happiness over wealth. Exactly. Every journey risks the dark. That's just the truth. You gotta want it. And if you don't want it, then you're not gonna get it. And by want it, I mean be willing to fucking subvert everybody else's expectations for your life and your own expectations for where you would be and go in life to pursue it. The people that do that typically make it. The sad thing is that most people never get that far. Most people never go that fucking deep with it. Most people never are willing to actually go that far with it. They think they're going to put in a little bit of work here, a little bit of work there. They're going to give it a good old college try, and then the dividends are going to come in immediately. That's not the way it works. That is not the way it works. Don't expect to get rich from it. Yeah, don't start planning on being rich. Do it for the love of it. Find a way to make it work. Don't give up on it. Treat failures as fucking opportunities to do better next time. Dust yourself off and keep trying. It's your fucking life. You gotta fight for it. I'm not gonna fight for it. Fuck you. I got my own life to fight for here. Nobody's gonna fucking do it for you. Nobody's gonna hand it to you. So go get it. Don't bitch about it. Like, if you don't have the gumption or the wherewithal or the cojones or whatever you want to call it to fucking get up and go get it, don't bitch about it. Paul sounding like a Shia LaBeouf speech. I mean, to be quite frank with you, that Shia LaBeouf speech that got memed so hard, it was meme worthy, but there's a lot of truth in that. Like, the guy was a little manic and the guy came at it a little strong or whatever, and it's pretty funny to watch. But if you actually listen to what the dude is saying, he's not telling you lies. Your excuses are your fucking own. Stop thinking about it and fucking just do it. I didn't necessarily follow that advice because I don't think that was a meme yet when I made a big change in my life, but that's what I did. I think there's a lot of people out there that think they love something and they don't, and I think that is why a lot of people fail at pursuing quote unquote what they love. There's a difference between loving something and appreciating something. There's a difference between loving something and liking to do something. There's a difference between loving something and constantly doing something. Loving something is something, how do I put this? Loving something means you put it before yourself, or that it becomes an extension of yourself. You reach a point where you can't imagine doing anything else. And even if you can't spend your whole fucking life doing that, you know you won't ever not do that. You'll do it to the best of your ability no matter what you have to do. You'll make the sacrifice and you'll pursue what you want. Some people are more in love with the idea of something than the reality of that thing, if that makes sense. Yeah. There's a lot of people that think that they are going to love something and they go to school for it and they find out they hate it. Happens to teachers a lot. I got to watch a lot of that. It was pretty sad. I was with the school district a long time and I would meet new teachers every year. Sometimes multiple times during the year because they would start at various times. Teachers would retire at various times. And it got to the point where after a couple of years of doing it, I was able to tell which teachers were going to last and which weren't. There's kind of a sad, desperate look in the eyes of a brand new teacher that doesn't know what they're doing and is slowly learning that their job is not what they thought it was. You see that young teacher fresh out of college, 3 months into their job, and you just know you're not long for this, are you? You almost want to just grab them and be like, it's okay. Your college is still worth something. You can go back and get another specialized degree and try another fucking line of work, because this is not for you. And then sometimes you'll see one of these new teachers and they come in and they've got their jaw set. That's the best way to put it. They're getting barraged with all the realizations of how different that job was than what they expected. But they got their jaw set and they're like, well, if this is the way it's got to be to do what I want to do, if this is the way it's got to be to do what I love, then here I am. There's a different tone about them. You can just tell. Those are the people that love it. Those are the people that have a love for educating children. They're willing to put up with all the bullshit to do it. It's the same with anything. Maybe you're a visual artist. Maybe you're you got a talented hand at art. You've been hemming and hawing about it forever, and maybe you don't love it. Maybe it's just something that you do as a pastime, and there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you don't love it. This fire wants another log. It's begging me for it. Log me. Don't mind if I do. I think I will log you. Also, the fact that the mainstream music industry is far more about marketing and PR than creating meaningful projects. Don't be bitching. Now's the time, dude. You want to try your hand at something? You want to make something? Start building a fucking portfolio online. Stop waiting. Save up your money little by little and get the fucking equipment that you need to record yourself at home and start doing it. There's never been a better time in human history than now. The doors used to be locked for people to record themselves. Locked behind a fucking paywall, basically, where these big music companies and these big distributors and concert companies held all the keys to all the venues and all the technology that you needed to record and perform your music. All you could do is have your little guitar or have maybe your little keyboard if you were lucky. You know what I mean? Those days are over. Like, music is wide open now. The tools are all attainable. Some of them are expensive, but nowhere near as expensive as studio time, I'll fucking tell you that. Charlie XCX, dude, there's so many fucking examples of self-made, multi-million-dollar fucking music acts now. Lil Nas X started recording in his fucking sister's house while he was living there because he had no place else to go. Post Malone, he says it right in his lyrics. I was broke last year, I won't go back there. Nicotine fiend, couldn't even buy a pack, yeah. And he was able to scrape together the dough and the resources to record White Iverson and become a millionaire. And you know what, dude? You can save up and start doing little bits. See, a lot of people get caught in this trap of, I've got to have everything perfect before I start recording. Fuck that shit. You get a little bit at a time. You get your fucking board that you plug into your laptop, or you get your FL Studio and you get a nice condenser mic and you start there. And then as the fucking cheddar comes in and you're able to save up a little money, you fucking upgrade that condenser mic and you get a nice fucking vocal performance mic. You get a little external board to plug it into. That's a, few $100 right there. Boom. Now you've upgraded yourself and you keep working. You keep building that fucking library of songs. You never stop. You release, you release, you release, you learn, you get better at your craft. That's what a person that loves it does. Nirvana sounded really horrible when they first started out. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Horrible is in the eye of the beholder, or I guess the ear of the listener in this case, I guess. But yeah, bands take time to develop a rhythm. Bands like Nirvana is a good example of a band that started out as a nothing and nowhere band. You know what I mean? A garage band where each person that was in the band basically brought their own fucking instrument because that's the only thing that they owned. They started recording on a little 2-track fucking tape recorder. What are your hopes for Beauregard? Just to have fun, man. Just to have a good time. Just to continue to express that fucking creative outlet for making music that I haven't had since I was in my 20s. To bounce to my own shit and to fucking geek out with Marshall Manson. That's my goal. I love doing it. I love sitting down in front of a track and writing a fucking beat out or writing a fucking song out to it. I love hearing it come together. I love passing it back and forth to Marshall. I love the collaboration of it. It feels very much like I felt in my teens and 20s when I had a group of creatives around me musically. They were interested in making that. If not a group, then at least one other motherfucker. You know what I mean? In my 20s, it was me and my friend Rodney. And we were like a little coal in that fucking apartment that we rented together. Just heating the whole fucking place up with our crazy shit. Pushing each other, driving each other to fucking make crazier music. For the love of it, for the fun of it. Oh, Dave Grohl, yeah. I mean, Dave Grohl, like that. A lot of people don't give Dave his fucking props. His percussion on Nevermind was so forward and so just aggressive that it jumped off the track. It provided this basis of just, it banged your head for you. You know what I mean? Kurt's wailing fucking guitar, it was great. Chris Novoselic's fucking hoppy bass, it was great. But that fucking foundational fucking drum track on those early recordings, oh my fucking God, with Grohl, clean ass drummer and a multi-talent. The SoundCloud account you're looking for is MoCrux27. If you just put that MOCRUX27 in Google, it'll be the first result there, and that's got all the old Apple Nasty shit on it. Not all of it, but all of it that survives. And then if you want to listen to some of the old government fund shit, which was me and Rodney in my 20s, I've got a lot of that shit up on this channel right here in a playlist called Burn the Couch. I think there's like 6 or 7 songs on that list from that album that we wrote together over the course of about a year and a half in Chandler, Arizona. Some crazy shit. Can you talk about a few of your favorite current artists outside of hip hop and genres you like? So I've got to be honest with you, when it comes to current artists, I've been on a real hip hop kick. And so to be quite honest, I I don't listen to a lot of modern rock music. I don't listen to a lot of modern country music. I don't listen to a lot of modern R&B, although there's a lot of crossover with R&B and trap. So I do listen to it, but hip hop is such a dominant force in the culture right now that it's hard for me to step outside of it a whole lot. Now I listen to a lot of that stuff, but older. I find myself listening to a lot of protest rock from the 60s, a lot of disco from the 70s. When I sit out here on my porch, I listen to a lot of the music from my past. But when it comes to modern music, I'm kind of like owned by hip hop and its kind of subsidiary stuff, trap, electronica, R&B, all the stuff that modern hip hop has kind of wrapped up. I do like synthwave, yeah. So I guess but here's the problem with that. I listen to a lot of synthwave compilations. I don't know a lot of synthwave artists. It's kind of a shame. It works that way with EDM a lot, or stuff that is in that genre. It's like, you put on a big compilation of awesome synthwave, and who made it just kind of goes by the wayside. Daft Punk, sure, why not? I don't think I'd quite call Daft Punk a modern artist, although they are current. Yeah, I was into Doom for a long, long time. His death hit me like a ton of bricks. It happened live here on the show. Somebody told me about it. I almost banned them. It was the day that his estate announced that he had passed away. He actually passed away back in October, and they didn't announce it until right at the end of the year. And yeah, it happened right here on the stream, and you can go back a couple streams ago. Sucks. I was a big fan, big admirer of Doom. Dude had an instantly recognizable flow. You know what I mean? Instantly fucking recognizable. He didn't sound like anybody else. That's very rare. Kurt liked gangster rap. Yes, he did. Kurt liked a lot of music. But did you hear he died? Yeah, I know. But did you hear he died? MF was also great. In November has come by the Gorillas. Yeah. Oh my God, he's dead. Yep. We all die. Yeah. Who's the best in modern hip hop? I don't do that. Like, I don't like ranking people. I'll tell you the current artists still making music who I follow religiously in no fucking particular order. Kanye, Post Malone. I really like a lot of the stuff coming out of Da Baby. Like really stripped down stuff. I like some of the SoundCloud guys. Little Skies is a dude who I always watch his new shit. Who else? Comethazine, when he puts out something new, I'm always gonna hear it. Ski Mask, yeah. I like Little Dicky. I'm not gonna lie to you and say that I listen to a lot of Little Dicky, but if some comes on, for sure. He's kind of a meme rapper, yeah. A lot of female rappers too, yep. I've been listening to quite a bit of like Cardi. I always love hearing Nicki's features. I think Nicki has grown as an artist. Her flow has just gotten so mean over the years. It's made like she's really settled into herself, I think. I love hearing Nikki on a track. Yeah, rip Mac Miller. He was the homie for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of environmental stuff when it comes to music. And what you kind of grew up listening to, I know that a lot of songs are just spiked into my brain because I heard them so much when I was a little kid that when they start now, it'll send a shiver through me because it almost takes me back to that place. And so that had to be where my musical taste was founded. You know what I mean? That had to be. So I think a lot of it has to do with environment. What kind of stuff were you exposed to when you were young? Your brain was developing all those new neural pathways. Hip hop and rap never really clicked with you. Dude, as soon as I heard it, let me tell you how my journey into hip hop and rap happened. It's a pretty funny story. I was about 8 years old, and I was at the skating rink, of all places, skating around. And this song came on by a R&B group called Belle Biv DeVoe, called Poison. And I'm skating around, and you can go listen to it. It's a pretty dope song. Bump, bump, ba-dum, bump, ba-dum, ba-dum, bump, bump, ba-dum, bump, ba-dum, ba-dum, bump. That girl is poison. And I'm sitting there skating, and I'm like, my little 8-year-old brain has never heard anything like this because my parents were just, you know, like they listened to like, but here's the thing, I heard other music in it. So my parents listened to jazz, Motown, 50s, 60s, and 70s rock, disco, 80s pop, right? So at that time, 80s pop and rock, all that shit was part of my foundation, and I heard it bump, bump, ba-dum, bump, ba-dum, ba-dum, being sampled. That drum sample, bump, bump, ba-dum, bump, ba-dum, ba-dum, bump. That was the first time I'd ever heard it. You have to understand, it blew my fucking mind. I went home singing that song to the point where it drove my parents crazy, and they finally went out and just bought me the tape. So here I am at 8 years old, and I've got Belle Biv DeVoe on tape. And I'm like, play it again, play it again, play it again, play it again. I think Do Me was on that. Do me, baby. Oh, do me, baby.
Dinor, quiet.
You can do me in the morning. You can do. So anyway, it was
Quiet.
D.
Get
Inside.
back in. Oh,
Inside.
come on.
Get him out of here. He's banned. Dino, you're banned. 300-second timeout. Get in there. Just can't hang. Dinor's got no chill today.
There's not even anything to bark at. One thing.
There was a gentleman walking by. There he is. That's what he was barking at. So anyway, I had this Belle Biv DeVoe tape, and I was obsessed with it. I wanted to go back to the skating rink before I got that tape, just to hear Poison again. That song changed my whole trajectory. And so it wasn't long after I got my Belle Biv DeVoe tape for my birthday or whatever the fuck it was, that my cousins brought over another tape. This tape was by a very talented rap artist that you might recognize, known as Vanilla Ice. So they brought over this Vanilla Ice tape. and a Too Short tape. I'd never heard Too Short, never heard Vanilla Ice, and all of a sudden my world expanded. There's more music like this out there. It's not just Belle Biv DeVoe doing this shit. And so they dubbed me a Vanilla Ice's first album. They dubbed me a Too Short album. And it was off to the races for me. About a year after all of that, I found myself at the swap meet with my dad. And that's when it really all clicked. I found a mixtape, a bootleg mixtape that had a bunch of old 80s hip hop artists on it. Dana Dane, fucking the Fat Boys, MC Ricky D and Dougie Fresh on the beatbox doing Lottie Dottie, which was really the song that changed everything for me. And I got that tape at the swap meet for like $2, and that was it. It was over.
Vanilla Ice just did a show at Mar-a-Lago.
I heard. Your first song was Crossroads by Bone Thugs. See, I was already deep in it when Bone came out. That first Bone album, you have to understand, like, if you were a hip-hop head, everybody was spinning that shit. That whole first fucking album was like, I think it's called, what was that first album called? Creeping on a Come Up? I think that's what it's called, Creeping on a Come Up. And produced by Eazy-E and his record label. Ruthless. Bone is, no, those dudes, dude. I can't remember all their names. There's Busy Bone, Dizzy Bone, Crazy Bone, and Lazy Bone. I think that's it. I think that's them. But yeah, those dudes there, mixing up that kind of R&B smoothness with rap. That shit was on fire when it came out. But I was already, you know, up to my eyeballs in it by then. The thuggish, ruggish Bone. They had the gangster flute down too. At the time when the gangster flute was like, you had to have the gangster flute. See, I had a lot of West Coast. They didn't use the gangster flute so much back east. But out west, it had to have that G-funk kind of sound to it or nobody was listening. Bone Thugs were the Migos of their day. I guess so, yeah. It's the first of the month. Well, I just named a Bay Area rapper that I really like and was a foundational rapper. Too Short. Too Short, baby, coming straight from Oakland.
Did you see what they did to Pelosi's house?
Yeah, they put a pig.
Yep.
Somebody pigged her. I always thought Bone Thugs were from Cali because of the flute, but apparently they're from like Ohio. Yeah. No, they just had a West Coast producer. Oh yeah, Wishbone. Oh yeah, isn't there Wishbone and Fishbone too? Holy fuck, I'm missing a bunch of Bone Thugs. No, it's Lazy, Crazy, Wish, and Fish. I listened to NWA. Yes, I did. They wrote Where's My Money on Mitch McConnell's house, too. Cool. Wake up, get up, it's the first of the month. Get up, wake up, it's the first of the month. Tribe Called Quest. So in the 90s, there was this kind of split between gangster rap and socially conscious rap. And A Tribe Called Quest was definitely on that socially conscious rap vibe, and I liked it a lot. Great fucking shit. Talib Kweli, I think that was his last name. Another dude that did a lot of that socially conscious rap back in the 90s and early 2000s. But I am still thirsty. Oh fuck, who did that? Oh shit, who did? She keeps on passing me by. Ba-da-na-na-na. Was that a tribe? Was that Tribe? I think that was Tribe. Far Side. You're right. Yep. That song, man. Ooh. Can you rap though? Yeah. I can. I'm not great, but I can rap. KRS-One, yeah. What up, Rodney? Rodney. Rodney. Come on here, Rodney. Cannabis, yeah. I'm cancerous, so if I diss, you wouldn't want to answer this if you responded back with a battle rap I wrote for cannabis. There's always some loser trying to place MGK in a rap ranking where he shouldn't be. I mean, whatever, dude. I'm not a huge fan of MGK, but the dude is okay. He can rap at least. Like, I'm not gonna hate. I may not be a huge fan, but I'm not gonna shit on the skill. He's a skilled rapper. Oh yeah, dude, Nate Dogg. There will never be anybody in hip hop like Nate Dogg again, dude. That guy just had the most buttery, smooth, old school Barry White kind of voice, dude. Just fucking always, just always welcome. That Regulators song that he did with Warren G. Oh my God. Wu-Tang, yeah. You notice a lot of my influence is West Coast in that area, in that era. I didn't get into Wu-Tang until well after they were popular. I didn't expand my horizons for a while. I stayed firmly entrenched in the West Coast and in a little bit of the East Coast that I had been exposed to. MC Ricky D, of course, is Slick Rick, and he's a New York City rapper, and was a foundational artist. Tupac, yes, of course. I'll tell you the biggest slapper that was ever released in my childhood when I was coming up as a hip hop head was The Chronic. That album changed the way that fucking hip hop sounded forever and for always. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg dropped The Chronic, and it was over. West Coast hip hop changed forever. Established that G-Funk sound, established the gangster flute, established it all, man. Packaged it up, made it fucking mainstream enough to be consumed by people who had never heard music like that before. Everybody was spinning it. Oh, good choice. Good choice on Lethal Injection, my favorite fucking Ice Cube album, and for good reason. For good reason. Lethal Injection fucking Cube, like, had to be easily the most raw rapper to come out of NWA. That guy just didn't even skip a beat. Shredded up. I don't know if he can still do that, but that early fucking solo career Ice Cube shit is just crazy, crazy, crazy. It's me and Warren G and the Indo Smoke. Whatever you do, young brother, you best not choke. Yeah, Cypress Hill was big in the area that I lived in because I grew up around a lot of Hispanic folks. And they were like a Hispanic kind of gangster rap group when they started out. And then they kind of became like a weed rap group as time went on. Like, it's funny now, people think about Cypress Hill and they think about, you know, hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. I would like to tell you just where I'm from. Smoke a fat bong and I smoke another one. But when they first came out, like, their first album was basically like cholo gangster rap, you know what I mean? Pretty awesome. Obligatory smoking music back in the day. Still is for me, man. Like, I'll sit here and throw on some fucking Cypress Hill. I'll still do it. Norteño rap, yeah. They were definitely norteños. And the only tenuous connection I had to gangsters was one of my best buddies, his brother was a norteño. And so I got to hear a lot of that kind of gangster rap. Who you trying to get crazy with this, eh? Don't you know I'm loco? Coming through with the flamboyant temper, just toss that ham in the frying pan like spam. Damn, I feel like the son of Sam. Roll it up, light it up, smoke it up, inhale, exhale. What East Coast rap did you listen to? Like I said, I didn't really start getting into East Coast rap until the 2000s. And my introduction to that style was the Wu-Tang Clan, particularly ODB or Big Baby Jesus or Dirt McGirt or he had so many names. But he was my favorite. That guy right there was just off the fucking wall. Absolutely off the fucking wall. Also love Method Man as well. If I had to pick a second favorite member of the Wu-Tang Clan, it would be M.E.T.H.O.D. Man. Boom, 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 boom. House of Pain, yeah, dude. House of Pain, Everlast. I always went more East Coast because the jazzy influence sound I loved, of course, man. And then Biggie, of course. I was exposed to the Biggie Smalls probably in, you know, the early 2000s is when I really started giving Biggie Smalls a listen. And of course, he's, you know, ICP's your favorite 90s rap group. I liked me some ICP back in the day, too. Their first few albums, all the way up through like Bazaar, are really good. Did Suge Knight have any redeeming qualities, or is he just a bad guy? I don't know Suge Knight, so I won't speak on Suge Knight. Dr. Dre made over $100 billion selling his Beats headphones. Yes, Dr. Dre is insanely wealthy. He parlayed his career perfectly. He came out as a producer and a rapper and parlayed that into a production career where he's got a piece of a lot of really big artists, and then parlayed that into actual like usable, listenable technology for people, for end users, founded a boutique brand of fucking headphones and made $1 billion, made $100 billion. Pretty dope. Just played it right. He managed to sidestep his early flashy years. Yeah, the closest he got to getting called out for that was, well, there was a couple of lines that were leveled at him, but the one that I think that almost landed hardest was when Eazy-E made a whole album basically dissing Dr. Dre. And there's a line from one of those songs on that album. It says, Dr. Dre tried to claim he's the G thing, but on his old album covers, he was a she thing. And then there was other mentions of it too. But he managed to sidestep that at a time where it probably would have been pretty devastating. I think that song is called Motherfucking Real G's if you want to hear it. It's actually pretty dope. A good example of West Coast gangster rap at the time. Filled with bravado and some good, like, guest rappers that you probably never heard from ever again. It's ironic that Eazy-E was the one who got AIDS, though. Still sad he died before his time. Yeah, kind of sucks he got AIDS at a time when AIDS was still pretty much a death sentence, you know? If he had just protected himself a little better or whatever the fuck and gotten it later, he'd probably still be around. Just a shame. I never met an OG who never did shit wrong. Dude, that whole song is shots fired, dude. You and your doggy dog think that y'all hogging shit. Both of you bitches can come and suck this doggy dick. Beating up a bitch don't make you shit, but then again, some people think it makes a man. It's like, ooh. Fucking calling out Dr. Dre for beating up D Barnes. Nobody was doing that. Do you have ADHD? No. Well, I don't know. I've never been diagnosed with ADHD. But since I got stripes, I got the right to rap about that. Yeah. Well, it's the knockout definition, original baby gangster. I bust you like you hard, motherfucker. I'ma bank ya, shank ya with my fucking shank if I have to. Dr. Dre and Snoop Doggy Dogg are fucking actors. Pranksters, studio gangsters, and busters, but this time you're dealing with some real motherfuckers. Have you considered stand-up? No, not really. I like consuming stand-up, but I don't think it's something I would enjoy doing all that much. That's another line I just remembered. Damn, it's a trip how a neighbor can switch so quick from wearing lipstick to smoking on chronic at picnics. Oh, shit. Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
I like your poof ball.
Yeah.
It sets it off. It's nice. Go hop the train.
Needed a beanie of my own.
I'm going to turn on live chat for a minute. See what happens. And there she goes. Another load of goods for whatever big city that's heading to. Jason, I'm gonna ban you if you keep bazinga-ing, dude. That is like, I don't even want to hear bazinga out of you. I'm gonna take your fucking wrench from you if you bazinga ever again.
Defrocked.
I will defrock you. Well, he's not even frocked to begin with. He's a shackled specter. A depleted wrench, yes.
He's more like a screwdriver.
Yeah. He's a screwdriver, not a wrench.
The vaccine.
Oh.
My stepdad's getting the vaccine, which is good.
That's good. He's on one of the early lists because he's immunocompromised. That's good.
Because he works in healthcare.
Oh, that too. Well, that's good too. Good news. Yes, I've heard of Jedi mind tricks. I like Collateral Murder, that Vietnam song. Oh my God, dude. Crazy. Thanks, Lunchbox, for the 420. Much appreciated. Can you delve into your knowledge of Scientology? What do you want to know? I don't know every little single thing about Scientology, but I know a lot about Scientology.
There's a story that just came out that like a judge ordered someone to go through Scientology mediation for a sexual assault allegation.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like a contract to go through Scientology mediation.
Yeah.
First.
Well, they try and handle everything ecclesiastically, and they use that. They have like churches are allowed to have their own ecclesiastical justice system for handling things internally. That's how the Catholic Church gets away with shipping pedophiles around from one fucking parish to the next instead of actually addressing them.
To go through that way.
Well, there's a Scientology drug rehabilitation program that's total bunko called Narconon that is still to this day in some states ordered by judges for people with addictions to go through. And it really is just a psychological breaking down of people by using a bunch of like courses of high level vitamin B and then sweating in a fucking hot lounge and then doing exercise and shit. And they break you down and then they feed you Scientology. It's total fucking bunk. You know, Scientology is a super pernicious cult, and they've got their fingers in pretty much every type of welfare, every type of like charitable social welfare type that you can think of. They do what's called touch assists, which is they show up to a place that's recently been through a disaster and they give massages basically. according to L. Ron Hubbard, this allows them to transfer their energy and their positive thetan energy or whatever the fuck into the people they're touching. But for the people that they're touching, it's just a massage, basically.
Hey, massages are nice though.
Yeah. That's how they get in good with people. If you've ever interacted with a Scientologist, it's probably getting a massage somewhere where something horrible happened. You know what I mean? Which one would show up at your place right now? No, you don't. You don't want a Scientologist at your place. You don't want to be involved in Scientology at all, to be quite frank with you.
Do you ever want to start an op in Clearwater?
An op? No. Nope. You're a suppressive? Yeah, me too. I'm an SP. You would decline any of the post offers. Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't, Lunchbox. They might get under your skin. They might convince you to take a little course real quick. What could it hurt to check it out?
They also, like, Mormons especially, they get you by, like, helping you move in and shit.
Oh, yeah. a lot of the charity that religious organizations do is just to kick the door open to, hey, have you heard the good word? It's all about getting somebody else into the flock. So yeah, we'll feed you as a homeless person, but you're going to hear a little bit from the Bible. Somebody's going to be walking out there giving a talk while you're sitting and eating your food about Jesus. Somebody's going to ask you and invite you to a church service. You know, it all comes with that price tag.
You all got the picture perfect families.
Oh, of course. So, I don't know. The way that they hook people is very, very manipulative. Because they offer something up front that actually gets what they call wins for people. Anytime that you feel good about something that you've done in Scientology, they call that a win. Life as a game is kind of a central theory of Hubbard's writing. So looking at, I did this session where I talked about my past for the first time in ever. You know, I sat across from another human being and they looked me right in the eye and they asked me about my mom. And for the first time ever, I spoke honestly about my mother to somebody. And after I left there, I felt like, this giant weight had been lifted. That's a win. And really what they're doing is classical Freudian psychotherapy without a trained psychotherapist and recording it all. So you've got somebody sitting and writing down every secret that's being told, but they're sitting very empathetically and very, openly across from you and asking you to go over and over and over these things that you've never spoken about. And then they move on to something else. They find another button on you. You never mentioned your dad. Tell me about your father. Recall a time that your father hurt you. That's kind of a Scientology question. Recall a time that you were angry at your father. And go back there. Close your eyes and go back there and tell me what you see. And you say, oh, I remember this time my dad, he called me a really horrible name. What was that name? He called me worthless. How did it make you feel to be called worthless? It made me feel worthless. You leave this session feeling like, oh my God, I just told somebody something I've never told anybody, and it's like a weight has been lifted off of my heart, my psyche. So, part of Scientology is counseling. They call it processing. Or auditing. But that's what it is. It's basically a twisted version of traditional Freudian psychotherapy. And so for a lot of people, it opens up their life to getting past some of those things. And that's really what Scientology is sold to you as at the beginning. It's as a way to get over the things that haunt you in your past. And you're encouraged to continue to go what they call up the bridge. The bridge is the bridge to total freedom. That is the road to OT8, which is the absolute pinnacle of Scientology. And if you actually look at a chart of the bridge to total freedom, it is an absolute mess of courses and classifications that you have to go to in order to get to the very top. But the big lie is that once you get to the top, you are a truly independent being. You have control over matter, space, and time. You have control over every situation. You can handle any situation with grace and without a thought. It's a lie. But as things go along, it stops being sitting and talking about your past with somebody, and it starts being learning about how your problems come from past lives. That's the first big what that Scientology springs on you. And by the time they spring that on you, you're probably about $5,000 to $10,000 in. And they tell you, well, look, you know how we've been processing, you know how we've been auditing, and you feel all these wins as you blow the charge, as they would call it. That means get over what you've been holding in. You know, you have this button and then you blow the charge and it feels good. Well, there are things that are affecting you right now that didn't happen in your lifetime. And you say, what? Well, you've lived before. We all have. In fact, every being has. And you may not have open memories of those lives, but things happen to you in those lives. And they stick with you. Traumas from those lives can affect you just like the traumas that you have gone through in your personal life. And so the next step, and see, you laugh, but you have to understand at this point, you have just improved your life by opening up about things that hurt you, by working through old traumas in your life. You're $10,000 into these people that have done nothing but steer you down this road that has led to you personally feeling and operating better as a human being. And so you laugh because I'm springing it on you now, having not given you that experience. But if you have that experience, you're way more receptive to what I would call woo-woo. Not everybody is. Sometimes people go, no, thank you. And that's as far as they go in Scientology. Some people go, I don't believe it. And they say, you don't have to. I'll prove it to you. Take the course. Take the past life rundown. I'll prove it to you. And what they do is they process you in very much the same way. And if you want to see this happening, there's some glimpses of it in P.T. Anderson's movie, The Master. He'll convince you to go back further. I want you to be in your mother's womb and center yourself there on what's happening. As she and my father are fighting. You know, it's like hypnosis. It's like encourages you to just go with whatever the first thing that comes to your head is, because that's the truth. What's true is what's true for you. So when you're playing along with it, I want you to go back. They do the kind of self-hypnosis, guided hypnosis thing. I want you to go back and I want you to be in your mother's womb. I want you to settle yourself there, and I want you to tell me when you're there. I want you to listen to the sound of my voice as you go back, all the way back through your life, younger and younger, until you're there in your mother's womb, and I want you to settle yourself there. Tell me when you're settled there. And if you're playing along, it's very easy to go, I'm there. And then the next question is, what do you hear? I hear voices. What are they saying? They're angry. Who's angry? My father. He's yelling at my mother. He's telling her that he's tapped out. He can't afford to have another baby right now. What is your mother doing? She's crying. It's playing along. It's self-hypnosis. It's allowing yourself to go through these traumas that you imagine about your own life, and then you go back farther. I want you to go back before and tell me where you are. And again, it's like allowing you to be creative. So they start with the womb therapy, right? And then they say, go back before. Who are you? Back before your mother, back before your father, back before your grandfather. Who are you? I don't know. Tell me what you see. I see a village. What kind of roofs are on the houses in the village? Straw. What kind of people do you see? They look hungry. They look dirty. I'm hungry. I'm dirty. Tell me what you see. A soldier riding a horse. He's got other soldiers with him. They're also on horses. What are they wearing? Armor. What do? They grab me. They try and tell me that I've stolen something. I didn't steal it. What happens then? They take me to a barn. They take me to a barn and they tell me that I've stolen chickens from this barn, and I've never seen the barn. I've never been inside the barn, and I plead with them to let me go, that it wasn't me, but they won't listen. And what happens? Then they hang me in the barn. Did you steal the chickens? No. Go back again. Tell me again. What happened? I see soldiers. They have you go through it. It's very fucking, just me sitting there and doing it for you guys. And I've participated in this kind of like what I was just doing is something that you will pay $40,000 or $50,000 to learn how to do in Scientology. Self-auditing is something that an OT is supposed to be able to do. An operating Thetan. That's a good chunk up the bridge. But I was just giving you an example of self-auditing. It gets to the point where you don't even need to have that other person sitting across you to buy the bullshit and get the wins. You can convince yourself that anything happened, that you were a peasant, that you were a king, that you were, a tribesman, that you were an African tribesman, that you were some historical figure adjacent to one, that you were a woman, that you were a man. And you can close your eyes and do that to yourself. And I'm telling you, when I just did that, because I allowed myself to just go with what first came to my mind, it felt kind of good to do it. It was almost like there was a little release of something for me after doing it. Like a little touch on some real emotion for something that's a totally made up thing that just came out of my head. Self-processing. You can achieve that state of mind through some sorts of meditation. Well, Scientology engages in classical brainwashing techniques. They have people go over and over and over a subject until it's meaningless. That's brainwashing. So that is their fix for it. Their fix for it is to go back. So you don't just tell them about a trauma one time. The next time you're sitting there and processing, the next time you're being audited, you go over that trauma again and again and again, all while holding the conduits for a primitive lie detector they call an E-meter. Measures electrical current that flows through the body. Sends like a little tiny current through the body and measures resistance. That's what they'll tell you. And you'll go over it again and again and again until what they call is you have a floating needle. It means the needle on the E-meter is just floating nicely right in the center. No resistance, no drops, no charge. You've blown the charge. You've cleared that incident, and you can move on to something else. That's your first big step in Scientology, is going clear. That means you have cleared yourself of all of your personal life's problems and your past life's problems. So what's the next step in the bait and switch after they've told you that you've lived again and again and again, and you've attested the state of clear, as they call it, which means that you've been cleared of all of your lives, your the engrams, as they call them, these problems in your life. So you've been cleared of your engrams. What's the next? How do they keep you going? You're clear. You've not only cleared yourself of all of the trauma that you've experienced in your own lifetime, you've cleared yourself from all of your past traumas, from your past lives. Where do they go from there? What do you learn? Well, they slowly start walking you up towards OT3, which they call the wall of fire. Because in OT3 is when you learn that you are covered with these souls or remnants of dead beings called BTs. And sometimes BTs get together and form a cluster. And you might have multiple BT clusters on you. And these are all lives that have been lived, all with their own problems, their own idiosyncrasies, their own engrams. And they are attached to you. And the only way that you can convince them to leave you is to go through processing and to process their problems as if they were your problems. So now you don't just have to clear your problems, body feeding, yeah. You don't just have to clear your problems. You have to clear the problems of all of the aliens that are attached to you. What up, Marshall? Marshall, you got to check your DMs. I'm sorry I missed you last night, by the way. We were supposed to talk, but I just got caught up and I passed out pretty fucking early. But you got to check your DMs on Twitter. Beauregard done sent you something, man. Me and Marshall were supposed to powwow last night, but I fucking, you know me. I goofed the floof. Aren't the monsters in Death Stranding called BTs? Yeah, they're it's some other fucking word. But yes, they are called BTs. Are you aware of the early days of L. Ron with Jack Parsons? Yes. So Jack Parsons was a guy who L. Ron Hubbard dabbled in what's called black sex magic with. L. Ron Hubbard and Jack Parsons liked to style themselves as acolytes of one Aleister Crowley, who you may or may not know much about. You probably know a little bit about Aleister Crowley. Most people have at least heard of him. Aleister Crowley wrote very dismissively of them in one letter, and that's all we know. So we know that Aleister Crowley knew that they existed, but he thought that they were just LARPing, basically, and were beneath his notice. But yeah, a lot of the foundational paranoia that you see inherent in Scientology was born from Hubbard's time with Jack Parsons practicing ritualistic black magic with a sexual component. There was actually a woman who was a girlfriend of Jack Parsons named Sarah Northrup, who was supposed to be the vessel for the Antichrist. They were trying to do a black magic ritual where they would both have ritualistic sex with Sarah Northrup and impregnate her with the Antichrist. That didn't happen. What did happen was L. Ron Hubbard stole Sarah Northrup from Jack Parsons and absconded with her and married her. Now, the Church of Scientology will deny that he was ever married to Sarah Northrup, but he was. She was his first wife. I think Hubbard believed some of this shit.
Well, he also was a drug-addled fool.
Yeah. I mean, Hubbard was a drug abuser. He was an alcoholic. He was a raging abuser of psychiatric drugs. Psychoactive drugs. He was, but first and foremost, an alcoholic, a raging alcoholic, and
possibly bipolar.
oh yeah, I mean, who knows? I don't like diagnosing people, but he had a host. Let's just put it this way: he was not mentally well. He had a host of problems. Who knows what he would have been diagnosed with? Wasn't he also a homophobe? He was a homophobe, but it's also speculated that he and Jack Parsons engaged in homosexual acts together. So it might have been, like we see so often in Republicans now, a self-hating, closeted homophobe. Homophobia is built in to Scientology. It's something that they claim they can cure you of at some point. They'll accept you if you're gay, but only if you're willing to go through the brainwashing of being de-gayed.
B, please.
B, we're not a flower. You can buzz us, just don't land and sting.
Yep.
They're no flowers. Sorry.
You're gonna get eaten by
Got to
a
talk to the
bird.
bee sometimes.
You're gonna get eaten by a bird.
Yeah, you're going to get snapped up if you go over by them bushes, bro. I'm just warning you. Travolta and Cruz still in that closet, yeah.
I mean, you tell them everything during those auditing sessions.
That's how they keep people from fucking speaking out against the church. Because you literally are forced to tell them your deepest, darkest, most personal fucking secrets. And all of those secrets are recorded in what's called a PC folder and kept forever in perpetuity by the church. So you admit to doing this, you admit to doing that, you admit to a crime, you admit to something that you don't want other people to know, you admit you had a dalliance with one of your best friend's wives, or you admit that you've engaged in homosexual acts, or you admit that you have homosexual attraction, or you admit that you were molested, or you admit that you molested someone when you were younger. That you had sexual relations with a family member. And all of this is recorded by the person that's sitting across from you.
What was that documentary, Taken in Plain Sight, that you kind of called immediately as like some church op?
Yeah. I can't remember the circumstances of it all that well, but I remember the basics. And yeah, I mean, it had all the stink of it. Had all the fucking stink.
Jehovah's Witnesses or something.
Yep. What if you're shameless and don't have any devastating secrets? Do they not let you join? Everybody's got something they don't want people to know, dude. I'm sorry to tell you that. You can front like you don't. Everybody's got at least 4 or 5 things they don't want other people knowing, or that they have a very small group of people that know anything about. Everybody. You think you don't? You're wrong. Nobody lives a life fucking with no regret. Nobody lives a life that doesn't have a mistake in it.
Or some skeleton in their family or whatever.
Some skeleton in their family's past. Something that happened to them that they never told anybody about. I mean, I've told you guys a lot of my fucking deepest, darkest shit. I keep to myself, the stuff that isn't for public consumption. You know what I mean? Just like everybody does. But I've revealed more about the workings of my psyche to you than a lot of people do. Just out of an abundance of wanting to, commiserate with those of you that are like me. If you can find someone who says they have no regrets, you would have found a liar. The amount of stuff I've done makes me want to go back and fix it all. Of course, we all feel that way. Everybody feels that way. That's why Scientology works on people. That's why, even though it's like meme worthy and funny and Xenu and ha 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 and space aliens, and it's real easy for us to look at it from the outside and go, how ridiculous is that? When you're on the inside of it, and you've been a personality that's been locked up by your own fucking mental problems for the rest of for the entirety of your life, and all of a sudden someone's sitting across from you listening empathetically and encouraging you to talk about things that you need to get off your chest. Oh my fucking God, bro. Talk about like a complete switch in perspective.
They normally have like free trials and shit too.
Of course.
Would you ever do one?
I tried to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they sniffed me though. Have you seen Crystal, Kyle and Friends? And is this the end of Kyle, or do you even watch Kyle? I watch Kyle. I don't know why him starting a podcast with someone else would be the end of him. He's still doing his main channel stuff. I have not seen the first episode of it yet. I plan on watching it. I think it's an interesting mix of people.
They have like Marianne Williamson or something.
Yeah, he's with Crystal Ball.
Yeah, but I mean, who they had.
Oh, they had Marianne Williamson on. Yeah, I want to check it out. But I don't know why that would be the end of Kyle. That's so fucking stupid and hyperbolic. Dude has multiple properties that he maintains.
Watch out for those nails.
Yeah. I gotta pee. I'm going to take a leak.
You gotta be quiet, B. You be quiet.
Be a quiet boy. And be a good boy. That's all we ask, is that you be quiet. Don't bark at every little thing. We don't need it. We don't need to know if there's a jogger. You want to play a fetch? All right. People said DFF was a sinking ship, and look how that turned out. I remember someone told me about the intro. Congrats, you jumped on a sinking ship. Yeah. Dude, that's the thing, is like, if you listen to what other people say about a project that you're working on, you may as well just fucking dig its grave and pull the dirt in on the fucking project yourself and bury it. You got to follow what you want to do. You got to follow what you know is best. You listen to a limited extent to the people that fucking consume your shit, but you don't fucking let them rule you. Dude, if we had let our audience dictate what Deep Fat Fried was, we would be doing Drunken Peasants 2.0, covering the manatee every fucking day, etc. Okay?
old couple don't care about Dynor. They still do their walk every day.
Yeah.
Probably
It's
get
true.
barked at by a lot of dogs in the neighborhood, though.
Probably a lot more threatening ones than this little thing wearing a pink penguin sweater. Looks like a teddy bear running at them. Yeah, you know, keep your DP bashing to a fucking 0, because I'm not gonna fucking engage in it. I'm not gonna talk about it. So go bash it somewhere else. Next one I see is getting fucking sunk. There it is. I mean, I'm in the middle of talking about it, bro. Catch up with it.
You don't wish anyone ill who's doing their own thing.
That's not what you do in entertainment in general. If you've got a job, any kind of professional job where you work adjacent to people that do the same kind of work as you, it doesn't behoove you at all. I mean, I'm telling you, dude, it's a fucking...
Dynor.
I'm gonna start keeping you on a leash. And you're gonna try and run, and you're gonna get fucking... You're gonna choke yourself on the leash. Because you're an idiot.
Quiet. Why are you not quiet?
I'm like full fucking done with that explosive ass shit out of nowhere just because somebody's running by on a street that's not even on our property, bro. Ugh. It's got my nerves all jangled. This bullshit. I just let you out and told you had to be quiet. Come here. Sit down. Lay down. All the way. Lay it all the way down, bud. All the way.
Lay down.
Lay down.
Are you going in?
Lay down. Be quiet. No bark. Quiet. Silence, then. You guys have no idea, dude. It's so explosive.
So piercing.
Just comes out of nowhere. He's got so much hound. So unnecessary, dude. It's just a fucking constant thing with you. Yeah, you ain't chipped in on this, Dynor. You don't pay rent. What are you boofing so hard at them people? Come here. How much do you do it? That's why I want to get a big privacy fence around our next place. So you can't even see people outside of it. There's no need. You don't like them. You don't want them. They don't want you. They don't need to hear you. Does your dog stay around the front yard if he's unchained? A lot of my dogs love me, but they love running free around town more. Yeah, no, he's not. Dynor's not a dude. He does want to try and sniff around in places where we can't see him and shit, but Dynor's not a dude that would go very far from home. We ain't really got to worry about that with him. He'd much rather be right where he's at, so just get him a blindfold. We're trying to let one grow in.
Yep.
Just let his fucking eyebrows grow over his eyes like Shih Tzus have. Then nothing will bother you, D. Your shepherd Just stands at the top of the fence to observe people. Nice. Your dog has dementia and cataracts, so he barks randomly at night if he doesn't know what's going on and where his people are at. Well, you should let him be in bed with you then. Then he wouldn't have to worry about it. I figure they would understand a noise rather than explaining to them that they shouldn't bark in English. Huh? What? Dinor probably has like a 30 or 40 word vocabulary. Or at least a limited like 20 word vocabulary probably. He knows what quiet means. He knows what his ball is. He knows what his kibbles and his food are. He knows what stay means. He knows what sit and shake and all of that means, and spin.
You got the straw on your nose. Get in here. Get this straw. Get it.
He wants it.
You get the straw.
I put the straw there for a reason.
Get the straw.
Train Dinor to use the speech buttons. Hungry, hungry, hungry.
He doesn't really do that though.
Fetch.
He doesn't beg for food too often.
Fetch. Potty, potty, potty.
I felt so bad for him on New Year's Eve. He held his pee in all night.
He was afraid of all the fireworks and shit people were setting off around here. He didn't want to be outside, so he just held his pee. Oh, D. You're such a mess. You're such a mess, boy. All right, well, I'm done. Have a good one. See you guys.